Greetings, fellow scribes! Welcome back to the archive. This week, I continue my series talking about notable locations in Rokugan in Legend of the Five Rings by talking about Otosan Uchi, the Imperial City. The city founded by Hantei himself. It would eventually be destroyed by another member of the Hantei line, but that's in the history we're about to talk about. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about Otosan Uchi. When one starts looking at the Imperial City, one must start with the names. First is the most famous name, Otosan Uchi. This means father's home. This is a direct reference to the Kami Hantei himself, the first Hantei emperor, the father of the empire, and this is where he lived. The second name, and apologies if I mispronounce this, is Buzama ni Hirugaru Kyojin, which translates as the Sprawling Giant. This is because Otosan Uchi is huge. It is easily the largest of the cities in the empire. And if it's not the largest, it's one of the largest. It is divided into two cities. The outer city is defended by normal stone walls. The north wall, the south wall, the east wall, the west wall. The inner city, though, where the Imperial Palace is located, is surrounded by a wall that was created by the combined efforts of the Scorpion and the Phoenix. This is called the Enchanted Wall. And this wall is meant to not just protect against normal military forces. It is meant to protect against spiritual and supernatural intrusions. These sort of things like the Shadowlands would try to sneak in. And this is also where, in the inner city, the single most important location in all of Rokugan is found. Sepun Hill. Sepun Hill is where the Kami fell to earth. It is where the Imperial Palace itself would be built, where the throne room would be placed. It is where the Kami fought the tournament to determine who would be the leaders of the empire, who would be the ruler of the empire. Later on, many centuries later, it is where the second Imperial tournament that would start the Ueko dynasty would be fought. As the throne room was located on Sepun Hill, it is also where the last Hantei died on the second day of Thunder. It is where the Steel Chrysanthemum was killed by his own guards. All sorts of major events occurred on Sepun Hill. And of course, in the throne room of the Empire. But Otosan Uchi is more than just the throne room. It was traditionally garrisoned by the Lion Clan, and when the last Hantei was attacked by Kisada, Hida Kisada, the champion of the Crab Clan, he had ordered the lion not to defend. The emperor let the crab take the city. And it was when they fought in the throne room that the last Hante revealed that he was possessed by Fu Lang. And then he stabbed Quesada. Quesada and the Crab Thunder Hideyakumo would flee and let the Empire know what was happening. And then the entire Empire, all the various forces, came to Otosan Uchi, retook the city, while the Seven Thunders, led by the Hooded Ronin and the champion of the Dragon Clan, would fight their way into the Imperial Palace and deal with the possessed Fu Lang. Most notably by Togashi Yokuni, the champion of the Dragon Clan, revealing that he was actually the Kami Togashi, pulling the 12th black scroll from his chest, thus making Fu Lang mortal so that he could be killed by the Seven Thunders. But that's a story for another time. Of course, this led to the start of the Tottori dynasty, because Akoto Tottori was the one who slayed Fu Lang, who struck the final blow on Fu Lang. And so, you have the Tottori dynasty. And things happened. Bad things happened. And eventually, Daigatsu invaded the city. And this time, when Daigatsu invaded the city, he freed Fu Lang from the fortune Emma-O, the guardian of the dead, and started the war in heavens. But at this point, the taint of what Daigatsu did so utterly corrupted Otosan Uchi that it could no longer be supported. It was tainted, corrupted beyond any means of redemption. And so, it was put to the torch. Eventually, the new Imperial Palace and Imperial City would be located at Tashiranbo. But, just because Otosan Uchi was destroyed, was razed, doesn't mean it stopped having significance for the Empire. There was a great story that came out of the later eras of fiction, and that was a story of the Topaz Championship. And one of the contestants was asked a philosophical question. Who should a samurai serve? The Emperor or the Empire? The individual asked this question motioned towards the location of the ruins of Otosan Uchi, and outright said, "There is what happens when you follow an emperor over the empire. Emperors can change, can fall, will fall, and live and die. The empire is eternal." Thus, giving a great example of how some samurai look at this. That Otosan Uchi is a representation of the transience of things. Of course, other groups built their estates into Otosan Uchi. First, there's a group called the Yotsu family. They're a group of ronin who were actually recognized by Hante the 38th as a family. And they protect anyone who is within Otosan Uchi itself, within the grounds of Otosan Uchi. The spider would eventually build their home, build one of their cities in the what they call the ruined city, which is built in the sewers under Otosan Uchi. The Minu Bay, a group of shadow-tainted individuals, people who have no identity other than the name Minu Bay. They set up a place in the ruins of Otosan Uchi as well. Of course, the Jade Champion, Asahina Sakawa, would eventually destroy them. But you had another individual set up. The third rise of Ichiban. Ichiban built his iron tower in the ruins of Otosan Uchi before he was utterly destroyed by Isawa Cesaru, who found the hidden heart of Ichiban. At this point, Ichiban shouldn't show back up again. And, of course, since these are all stories from the original Legend of the Five Rings, we pretty much know Ichiban never came back. Now, Fantasy Flight, the current IP holders, they're doing things differently. So we're going to have to see how they tell the story, since they did a hard reboot. And we are back before many of the later events happened. But with all that said, that is Otosan Uchi, the Imperial City. Next week, I tell the tale of the City of Green Walls, the City of Stories, the City of Lies, Ryoko Awari Tashi. Until then, I'd like you all to remember to have fun and keep gaming.